helps me with this all the time. It's just that I'm getting up there in age where my brain is starting to fail me. But there are things that I need to put down for the sake of truth and justice. And I don't believe that my son and I have had any justice since we came back to Oregon. Every time we come to Oregon, because of the nature of what we do, police accountability videos, and there's over 100 videos on my site right now. It's a way of keeping history and publicizing the history of some of the things that go on with us. After having 2 cars taken from us illegally and unlawfully under the guise and color of law, the police department in Portland, Oregon is not even shamed by the fact that they had taken my cars, both of them, and left me to lay on the sidewalk in a tent. Their actions are just outrageous, and they apparently seem to be getting away with this nonsense. In a better world, this stuff wouldn't even... They're charging my son for civil things that they claim he did. They claim that he went into another person's room and turned their volume down. And this was after this guy hired him. We went and picked my son up out from St. Helens, and he told me on the way that he was going to hire my son to take care of me and me only, and then do some other chores, like mowing the lawn and cutting bushes and stuff like that, so that he could pay him and he could stay with me. But that soon disappeared. That opportunity disappeared after the first time he witnessed Michael Winters. Michael Winters was a person who kept leaving the home and not coming back, and they would send out the police to catch him and bring him back like he was a prisoner. And that's the way the guy tried to treat me, this guy named Roba Allo. And the thing is that we were witnessing some of this criminal behavior against this disabled man, and we were in a pinch. We called the cops. We had the cops come. The cops did come. We did tell them. We told the judge in the courtroom even, and everybody ignored us. The judge ignored us. The police ignored us when we were telling them that Michael came out of his room with a big black eye one time from the bathroom. And this guy named Cece was the one that was using a strap on him. A rope is what he was using on him, to hit him with the rope and demand that he do this, and hit him with the rope and demand that he do that, and tell him to hurry up. And Michael was severely disabled, and he couldn't speak well because he didn't have any teeth in his mouth. But every person that I told, I called up Protective Services and told them about it. I called up a lot of people and told them nobody is paying attention to anything. They're trying to pretend like it's a figment of my imagination. Well, I beg to differ with them. I will sit down to a lie detector test. Me and my son both will sit down to a lie detector test and talk about Michael being beaten up and having bruises all over his body. He had a black eye one morning after Roba Allo and Cece got done with him in the bathroom. He came out of there with a big black eye. Nobody cared about that. Even though we told, there's videos on my site here where it talks about the very thing that I'm talking about. Even in the courtroom, I spoke right up and told the judge that that man right there is beating Michael up all the time, and he was doing it all the time. I had to go rescue Michael myself a couple of times. He fell out of bed and wound up upside down in his walker, and nobody was around to help him, so I helped him. Michael was a nice person. I don't care what anybody says about him. He was a nice old man, and I liked him, and we used to smoke pot with him. And now they're turning that around and saying that we forced him to smoke pot. And I don't, has anybody ever complained about being forced to smoke marijuana? I don't think so. It was just a figment of their imagination. They're trying to get a reason to hold my son accountable for what I did. I was the one who made the call. I was the one that went in and turned down the volume. As a matter of fact, I pulled the plug out of his TV because he is so deaf in his ears that he couldn't hear very well. And I told the guy, why don't you get him a set of headphones to put on? Because he likes his TV loud, and the door is open. Sometimes I had to shut his door. But those are options that I was given by this Mr. Allo guy. This guy he tied me up with some cable and put a stick in it and turned it and twisted it until the other guy came over and took it away from him and said, no, don't do this. Anyway, this video is about justice for all except for me and my son. So I've been in the hospital here for, I don't know, 10 days or so. My son's been in jail out in Scappoose. And that's what this is all about. What we know about Scappoose and what we know about the pedophiles out in Scappoose. And I've already put down what we know about the pedophiles. These are little children, 10, 12, 13, 14-year-old that are coming up missing since 2014. They have one missing right now in Scappoose or in St. Helens or in Columbia County. And everybody that I told about this abuse, this sexual abuse, they don't seem to care at all. The children are still coming up missing. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you poor thing. He deserves it. So there are people out there who write in and on this talk thing here that I got. I don't even know what it's about even. It just comes on. They think that I deserve whatever I get. I'm 79 years old, folks, severely disabled. What I deserve is justice. That's what I deserve. I noticed since I started talking about this, those chats went away. Because those are cops doing that, writing those outrageously nasty comments. They're cops, okay? And the cop has my phone with the same number on as this phone right here. So he's been monitoring my phone calls and my videos. And it's really strange that as soon as I try to put a video up, there's like a half a dozen people waiting to make comments. And these are cops. They monitor me every time. And I just got finished doing it just now. Notice the comments. And the comments are nasty comments. Aren't you tired of getting in trouble day after day after day? He deserves it. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, you poor thing. Are all cops shapeshifters? They just don't understand that shapeshifter thing. He doesn't shapeshift literally. His personality shapeshifts. Okay, you dumbasses. You're the ones that are writing those nasty comments. Those are all cops, folks. Every one of them. Because most people, most sane people, most human people don't subscribe to this kind of a thing. I'm damn near 80 years old, and they're saying, some of these comments are saying that I deserve what I get. Oh, you poor thing. You know, comments like that. Those are cops. And I know they are, and you should know it too. What they don't want is me spreading the word about what's going on here. This Mr. Schlosser, who is Norman's attorney, is refusing to call me back so that I can tell him what's been going on. He doesn't care because here's a thing that this law firm that represents all the people, all the poor people out in Columbia County, this law firm is owned by one of the judges that sit on the bench. How about that cozy little, okay? And it's a law firm that this judge owns, and all the poor people who need lawyers get lawyers from her law firm, which is the poverty law firm. Anyways, my purpose for making this video is there isn't justice for all, and there hasn't been justice for all for quite some time, in the past 50 years that I know of. So I'm in the hospital here. I've got diabetes and neuropathy, and in a lot of pain all the time. And these cops think that I deserve all that pain. There's where their humanity is. They have none. They have no humanity at all, folks. Because I'm an old man. I don't pose a threat to nobody, but my son does. Okay, because he can carry on with the videos long after I'm gone if he chooses to do so. I told him not to, because it's just something that draws trouble to you. And any brave man with a pair, a pair, would be doing this, because it's a social injustice thing. But nobody's behind us. We're behind our own selves. That's all we have behind us, our own selves. So the video that I'm trying to make, I'm having a little difficulty at it, is that there is no justice for all, and that these lawyers are directed by any lawyer that gets paid by the state. Okay, you can't have that much confidence in them, because it's been my experience over the last 50 years of having difficult problems with the police department is they like beating on people. They love beating on people, but now they're all going to have to wear cameras. See, the cameras keep them from doing, well, it doesn't really. They do it right in front of the camera and don't have no fear any. And we all know that. That's why Antifa was here. And Antifa left too soon. They should have knocked this police department down to brass tacks, as far as I'm concerned, and replaced a whole bunch of the older ones. It's the older cops that are teaching the nice younger cops, and there are some nice young cops out there that are trying to make a difference, and I can tell by the way they treat me when they come upon the scene of anything. Okay? They treat me differently. They come off with this angry, nasty attitude, like I'm already guilty before they even take the report even. And there are videos about that even, how they come, and one lady, a cop, tried to tear my tent down. So this Mr. Schlosser, who's Norman's attorney out there, and is not calling me back. And I have evidence that will make these charges go away. But I'm publicly admitting that I was the one who turned down the radio or the TV. I was the one who made the calls to District Attorney Jeff Auxier. I called him a pedophile. I said he was involved in raping children. And he is, and so is Judge Grove. And Detective Peabody. Detective Peabody has a very bad history as being a drunk, okay, and pedophilia. His son was busted in 2015 and went to prison for raping a girl. And then in 2019, my son busted him snatching a girl off of 2nd Avenue where her bus stop was. And I've already done videos about this, but this is what they're trying to cover up, and this is what I'm not letting go of. I'm not going to let go of this until the day I die, because this is an important issue. The molestation of children is the way that children grow up with horrors in their heads because of this abuse, and they never become productive citizens of society because of the abuse and what it does to them mentally. I can testify to that because I was abused as a boy in Catholic school and in the Boy Scouts, sexually abused by both entities, the church and the Boy Scouts. And the lawsuit for the Boy Scouts is coming to an end, and they'll be doing payouts pretty soon. In any event, I also have 2 lawsuits in New York against St. Coleman's Home in Waterville, New York, and La Salle School in Albany, New York. Both abused children, and it's been proven that they abused children. So that's what this is about, justice. Okay, they're not going to give my son any justice. They're not going to give me any justice. Okay, Um, I'm sorry that these videos are not of the quality that they should be or could be, but I'm winging it on my own, and I just hope that these messages get out. I'm publicly announcing, okay, and they can't get by this. I'm publicly announcing that Michael Winters of 2009 uh, Southeast 185th Street, the foster care home there. So he went in there walking, and after he ran away 6 times, he no longer walks anymore, because I believe that Roba Allo beat him when I wasn't there. And by the time I got there, I saw the way he was being treated. He was being treated like he was a dog. And I was making comments about it constantly. And if they can ever get him away from Roba Allo, because Roba Allo stands near him all the time when he tells people things and intimidates him, they need to get him away from Roba Allo into a room by himself where he can talk and not be in fear that there's going to be repercussions if he does tell the truth about the way he's being treated. I witnessed Michael being beaten, and I did say something about it. I told the judge in the courtroom. Nobody even looked into this. Nobody. So it's my guess that Michael's still being beaten up, or maybe not, I don't know, because the limelight is on him now. So there isn't any justice for all. There's only justice for those that can afford it, okay? And that's my message here, folks, is regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, Republican, Democrat, none of that matters. What matters is how people are being abused in this system. When I complained about the abuse that I suffered at that foster care home, they evicted me. They did a retaliatory eviction and evicted me. And so I wound up living on the streets. 1 minute I'm worth $8,650 is what they were paying this guy per month. And then the next minute I wasn't worth a penny because I complained. That was a retaliatory eviction. And the police officer, in one of the videos, the police officer admits that. And he says he really doesn't relish doing this kind of a thing. In any event, my son is in jail out in Scappoose, Oregon, and he's being abused as usual. I believe he told me that his lights are still being turned on bright at night while he's trying to sleep, and the cold, these people are so broke, the county is broke, and that's a fact, that they need people to arrest. They arrest everybody for any darn thing. It don't matter, because all these arrests lead to federal funds that they get. Isn't that something? The more people you arrest and abuse, the more funds you get from the federal government. So who's behind all this? Okay, it didn't used to be like that. It used to be if they didn't have charges that stuck 100%, they wouldn't even pursue that. But they're pursuing charges that are civil, because my son and I got a restraining order on us to not go back to that house where the foster care was taking place at. And they don't want us back there because of the exposure we gave them. We gave them a lot of exposure. So the home, the adult foster home, has 38 complaints registered against it since 2009, I think, is when he started up. He's had 38 complaints registered against him for abuse. Not one of them went anywhere because the Gresham Police Department put a dead end to the complaint. They didn't forward it on like they're supposed to. Like the complaint that I filed, they were supposed to put that forward, but they did not. So I took the sheet down to the district attorney's office and showed the district attorney and told the district attorney that these complaints right here have never, and the DA told me that they've never been investigated like they should be. So there you go, folks. There is no justice for all. There's only justice for those who have money, and all of you know that, and I know it. Okay, Mr. Slauser, this is a public announcement for you. I told you that I had evidence that would clear my son, and the evidence is I made the calls. I did the turning down of the TV, okay? My son didn't do anything. And as far as smoking pot, Michael was stealing it from me. I would leave it on the table and he would steal it from me, or he thought he was stealing it from me. I left it there on purpose so that he could get some if he wanted to, because Allo was not allowing him to smoke pot, and he liked smoking pot. But I was smoking pot. He wanted me to stay there, so that was one of the things he had to let me do, is smoke pot and live in the living room. See, the bedroom is for bed. The living room is where you live. So I lived in the living room, and I didn't go to sleep in the bedroom. I went to sleep in the living room. And he permitted all that because there was money involved. But once he found out that I was making complaints on him, then that whole attitude changed. And none of these charges have been proven. These charges that they're trying to put on my son, none of them came with a complaint that was investigated. Okay, those are all charges that should be adjudicated in a courtroom, and not just you say something to somebody and then that's on your record just because of the what the conversation was. That's not how this justice system works in our country. The justice system is that you are charged, then you go to court, and you're pronounced innocent or guilty one way or the other. This guy here, he does it all. So in the eyes of the law, I'm just guilty, and so is my son. And my son, he's mentally ill. There's no doubt about that. He has dissociative amnesia, and most of the time when he's having problems is he's disassociated from anxiety. The anxiety really messes with him. So folks, and you people out there that don't have hearts, you should get one. It's a beautiful thing to have a heart. It helps you to do things for other people, mostly. So folks, this is public record. That's all I'm after. I don't care about the quality. I don't care how many views I get, or none of that. All I care about is making a public record of what they're doing. And what they're doing is they're trying to cover up the pedophilia in Columbia County. And if you look up how many children have been missing from Columbia County, you'll see that I'm right. There's one missing right now. I don't know the age of the child, but they call him a child or her a child. So I'm saying the same thing. There's a child missing right now in Columbia County, I think from St. Helens. Look it up, see if I'm lying or telling the truth. Like I said, I'll sit down to a lie detector and repeat everything that I'm saying. But they won't do that because they don't want to know the truth. Yeah, they do know the truth, but they don't want to hear the truth, and they don't want the truth out there. Anyways, there we go.